All there is, all there was, all existence, all the love came from you, Lord. It came from you, Lord. Every bird taking flight, every gentle sound and sight came from you, Lord. It came from you, Lord.
And welcome to Sonsnacks. And Mama is running to her place.
I think he's trying to be like his daddy. His daddy does that to me on our radio show. Well, welcome to Sonsnacks. It's been a while since we've done any new videos, hasn't it, Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a million days.
Feels like a million days, that's right. Well, today we had a Bible study, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, is this the, let's see if we can find, I should have done this beforehand, the story that you covered. Okay, is this it? Okay, so today we're going to cover where 12 men explore. And if you're looking in a regular Bible, it's Numbers chapter 13, verse 1, through chapter 14, verse 35. Sounds like a lot of reading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read what Nathan's little Bible says. We've got, for him, we've got some read and share Bibles that make it a little bit easier for him to understand.
Well,
go ahead.
This is a read and share Bible, and I also have a beginner's Bible.
Right. Okay, so one day Moses sent 12 men to explore the land of God. Let me start over. One day Moses sent 12 men to explore the land that God had promised his people. The land had lots of food, but the people who lived there were like giants, like really huge, like Goliath giants, right? Two men, what were their names? Joshua and
Caleb
said, "Don't worry, God is with us, and he is stronger than any giants." Let me finish. But the other men were afraid and said, "We can't go into the land." God was not happy with his people. They did not trust him. So God's people had to wander around in the desert for 40 years. So for 38 more years, they had to wander in the desert. Here's the picture. Okay. So let's talk about it. What were you going to say a minute ago?
Well, the audience saw me laughing, and
what was so funny about the name Caleb and Joshua?
Well, it was actually, Mama has a friend named Caleb, and it was just a little hilarious.
Yeah, and
Caleb.
Speaking of that boy Caleb, he has brain cancer.
So we need y'all to keep him in your prayers.
That's right. He has a really hard time, and his dad died recently, and he has a lot of health problems on top of his cancer, and he's really been very upset lately. And so, yeah, we would appreciate it if you would pray for Caleb. But we're talking here about a different Caleb. We're talking about Caleb and Joshua. And when Caleb and Joshua went and saw the land, they were looking. What?
Mom, I just want to say one more thing.
Okay.
I think that Caleb was actually named from the Bible.
Oh, yeah, he was probably named after this guy in the Bible. That's right. Okay. Can I talk now?
Yeah.
All right. So Caleb and Joshua were the only 2 out of 12. 2 out of 12 men that God sent were the only ones that had faith enough to say, you know what, there's giants here, but Nathan's Bible says that they said, don't worry, God is with us, and he is stronger than any giants. Now, do you know what happened if you gave your heart to Jesus? You gave your heart to Jesus when you were how old?
6.
You were 5.
Oh, yeah, 5.
And when Nathan gave his heart to the Lord, what happened was
That's a bad memory.
God took Nathan out of, and we've covered in some of our other cross kids, he took Nathan out of the old Adam that sinned in the garden, and he put him into Jesus, right?
Old Adam.
So, just listen.
What does that mean, old Adam?
Sinful.
Sin.
Okay, so when you were born sinful.
Uh-huh.
Okay, nobody had to teach you how to lie or how to steal or how to want something that somebody else has. Nobody taught you that. I actually have to teach you not to do those things, right?
Huh.
So we were naturally sinful. All of us. You, your parents, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, me, Nathan.
Everyone's sinful when they're born.
Right, because of what?
The fall.
Right.
See,
Because we're not going to get into all of that. We're talking about this story. But what we're going to say is it's important that we understand. See, what Caleb and Joshua knew was a really important thing. They knew that God was with them. And there's a lot of people that give their heart to Jesus and they don't know that God is with them. But see, if God took you out of a sinful place, the old Adam, right? And in his mind, he placed you, he put you into Jesus. Jesus is God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're in him and he's in you, how can you be apart from him? You can't. So is God with you? If you've got Jesus in your heart, is God with you? Is he? Yes, God is with you. So if God is in you and with you, then is he stronger than anything else that goes on around you?
Huh?
Is God strong?
Yes, of course he is.
That's right, of course he is.
Of course he is.
So, when we're talking about this Bible story where the children of Israel had to wander, the word wander, Nathan asked me when we were doing our Bible study this morning, he said, what does wander mean? And I said, well, it's kind of like you just walk around like you're lost, like you don't know where you're going or what to do. Yes, Nathan?
Well, I just asked that because you know how some other words have different meanings?
Mm-hmm.
Like order. Like when you order pizza, or you can put something in the order they happen. So I just thought that maybe it had a different meaning.
Okay. But wander means to be lost.
Yeah, but it doesn't have another meaning, does it?
No, not that kind of wonder. It's spelled differently. Then I wonder. Wander and wonder are two different words. They're spelled differently and they mean two different things. But we're talking about being lost and wandering around like you don't know where you belong. See, and that's what the children of Israel do. Did you know that people today that have Jesus in their hearts, that they do the same thing? Because they don't believe and they don't know. I think it's probably because people aren't telling them where they live since they're saved. If you're not saved, then you've got some problems. If you don't have Jesus in your heart, guess what? Today's your day. Jesus died on the cross because we're sinful, and he took our payment, he took our sin, put it into him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he, at the cross, he traded with us what he had, which was being perfect, having joy, having peace, being friends with God again. What, baby?
Well, I think an example what you're saying.
Okay.
See, it's like a clam doesn't have a pearl in it, and sometimes you find pearls in clams. So, if someone found a pearl and put it in there, imagine that Jesus is
The pearl.
Is the clam, and he puts us, the pearl, into him, the shell.
Actually, it's kind of, I like your thinking. It's a little backwards than that.
Huh?
You're the clam, Jesus is the pearl. And the problem is, people don't realize that they have a pearl inside of them. He is the pearl of great price. He is a treasure that's hidden in a field. And people don't realize what it is that they have in Jesus. What we're going to start trying to do is having some cross kids. We try to explain where Jesus is in the story, right? We're also going to try to tell you what Jesus has done for you, because a lot of people don't realize that. We've been learning that, and we've been growing in that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start sharing that. We're going to start sharing that with y'all. So we thank you for joining us today for a Cross Kids Bible study. And I'm still going to try to sit down and make some more Cross Kids stuff that you can do on paper. But we're going to also be trying to come up with the videos. We're going to be working on trying to do better quality for lighting and things like that. But it's going to take us a little bit of time. I think it's probably more important that we get the videos out there for you to see. Please remember to pray for our friend Caleb. Like I said, he's very sick. He not only needs to know what we're talking about here, about Jesus being with him and not leaving him, since he's having a hard time, but he also he needs to know that what were you going to say?
No, you didn't finish.
That's it. He needs to know that Jesus is with him. What were you going to say?
Well,
we're finishing up, so.
The fact that you said it was backwards, I just didn't get that.
Well, when we ask Jesus into our heart, he's like a pearl. When you've got a clam's kind of ugly on the outside. There's not really much to it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way we are on the outside. You see something different. But the pearl that's on the inside is really the beauty that the clam holds within. And what we hold within us is Jesus. But a lot of people walk around thinking that they're the empty clam. And they have a pearl inside, which is Jesus. Okay, well, thank y'all, everybody. Have a great day. We love you. And keep watching Sonsnacks every day.
Viva, viva. That's all, folks.
So lift your hands to the world that we were made in the image of. Alleluia, alleluia, our praises only for you, Lord, before the dawn.